guys, this is Kendra with the Pages Media doing another UX Teardown for you today. So today we are going to be looking at a company called Love Ya Guts, and they sell supplements and different items that are supposed to help with gut health. So I stumbled upon this site a couple of days ago, and so I thought it would be a great one to do a teardown for. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So when I typed in the URL, I'm within like 10 seconds have like 3 things popping up at me, which is probably going to be a little bit overwhelming. So we have down here at the bottom, we have pop-ups with like people that have purchased specific items. And then in the middle, we have a promo for 20% off our first order. And then coming down from the top, we basically have a request for notifications. So all 3 of those right off the bat is going to be pretty overwhelming. So when a person lands on the page, you want them to have time to orient themselves to the page. So there's nothing wrong with using pop-ups, and in fact, like that can be a really good marketing tool, but you want people to have time to orient themselves to the page. You want to be cognizant of the number of pop-ups and slide outs and things like that you've got going on at one time, because it's just a lot for people. So let's do this. We'll click out of this so we can get started. Okay, so the copy here and the hero image is really clear, so we know that they sell gut health products. So when we enter a page, within like 20 to 30 seconds, probably even sooner than that, we want to know who you are and what you sell. So it's pretty clear based on this image and the copy. So that's really great. I like that they have the discount code for the first order here in the announcement bar. So it looks like they're advertising 2 things. We've got the promo code and then an afterpay thing available. So what I think that I would do if I was going to put those both in the announcement bar is I would separate them somehow with a divider, or you could have them like swap out places and slide. I don't love just like, constant scroll things. I don't think those are great for a lot of reasons, but having them, switch back and forth to display wouldn't be bad. I've seen that done really well. But this is just like one big run-on sentence for me. So up here I can take a gut assessment. Okay. Let's see. So their menu, this is fairly cluttered. Kids box, products and bundles, gut health assessment. So it seems like they have every single option available in their header, which I get why people do that. But I think that the advice that I would follow is that if everything, is important, nothing is important. So people tend to want to get like all of their information out there, but some of it doesn't belong in the header. There's really valuable space down in the footer. And honestly, there are some things that people would look to see in a header. Things like blog, wholesale, things like that people tend to look for in the footer anyway. So, and things like wholesale, they could have a place in the header, but it's really going to depend on what the traffic for that is like. So if you have a ton of people that come to your website for wholesale, then like it makes sense to have it in the header. For a lot of people, it doesn't. So I guess this would, kind of depend more on the specific customer base. But I would recommend only having like maybe like 5 or 6 things at the most in the header, and then put some of those things down below in the footer. Okay, so we've got a call to action button here, and it's got a hover state, so that's good. I think I'd probably make this a little bit more prominent. I think the contrast is probably good enough with the white text, but yeah, I think I would make this bigger, because I would wonder on mobile, I would want that to be like in the center and pretty big. So I think that I would change how that looks a little bit. Stretch from the inside out. This is think I would add, just from a layout standpoint, a little bit more spacing here. So the way that they have it set up is good as far as like how people read it, but I think I would add some more spacing here to make it obvious what it goes to. So you always want things to be laid out in a way that people don't have to try to figure out what goes where. So when we've got, this box right here is pretty close to this. So it makes people have to stop and think. And the one thing about, e-commerce specifically is you want to make things as easy as possible. You don't want people to have to like think too much about it. And people tend to group things together based on like where they're positioned. So I think I would add some more spacing. These are really cute. I like these badges, like a little bit more about their product. We've got some information about bundles. I love bundles. Okay, but a couple of notes here. The spacing on this is off, so we've got all of these are on the same, like they're all on the same level, but this one is down a little bit further. Then again, I think I would add a little bit more spacing here so these aren't all like bumping up against each other. And this just really speaks to it being like more clean. I don't know that necessarily that would stop anybody from making a purchase. Maybe it would, but it's just when we go to a website, like we want to see that it looks clean. We want to say there's been some thought that's put into it. Price is cut off on this. So just little fixes. And these are like really quick wins too. These are things that you don't need a developer to fix. You don't need to even know how to code to fix this. We're talking about like some spacing stuff. So a lot of these things can be some really quick wins for your brand. Okay. Yeah, it's just some spacing issues. And again, some more spacing here. Adding some padding up top here, I think would be good if you want it to be seen as a separate section. So we have some reviews. And the way that they integrate the reviews is pretty on brand for them, which is really good. So one of the takeaways too about the homepage is that it's really consistent. The branding is really consistent. So they're using the same color schemes, they're using the same graphics. And that's really good when we see the consistency. That kind of helps build trust and people, recognize that they're still on the same page. So we've got reviews. I think I would like to see a little bit here on the home page about who they are. So I'm sure that there's an About Us section somewhere, but having like a little something on the home page of an About Us just to let people like see your face, that helps to build trust with your brand. And so it doesn't have to be big and can definitely link out to a different About Us page, but just something on there stating like who you are, why you do this is always a really, really good thing for a home page. All right, so let's add something to the cart here. So we will add this, add to cart. Okay, so it was a little slow. Actually, for a second, I thought maybe it didn't do anything. So it doesn't need to be, the notice or the cart setting up doesn't need to be so fast that it's like jarring for people, but you want it to be like fairly quickly so they know that the action was completed. So that was a little slow. Okay, so again, we've got 20% off our first order. Afterpay available. Okay, I like the slide out cart. This is a great place. So they're doing a really good job here of adding in products here that I could also purchase. So this is like the slide out cart is a really, really good way to do that. So let's add. Okay. Let's see. Add shipping insurance for only $4.95. So I'm going to toggle that off. That's one of those things that I don't think I would recommend auto adding. I think that giving people the option to add it is a really good idea, but I would be hesitant to automatically add anything into a customer's cart that they didn't add themselves. Even if it's for a good reason, I think that just, it promotes some distrust All right, so we're gonna try to check out. Okay, and we've got another option. The Collagen Plus blend get even better results with these products. So this is basically just a pop-up saying like, hey, that people that buy the things that you're purchasing also benefit from this. So we'll go ahead and we'll decline this. And we're gonna go here into the checkout. Okay. So the thing that I would note here, couple of things. So when you do a discount code, and it did say it needed to be added at checkout, but from a customer perspective, I remember that there was a code, but I don't remember what the code was. So if I have to put it in myself, that means that for me to go get it, because it's not displayed here anyway, for me to go get it, I actually have to back out of the checkout here to get the code, which is not something that I would recommend, because if somebody is like ready to make a purchase, you want them to make the purchase. So that would be, I prefer personally discount codes that auto-populate in the cart. There's a case to be made for making sure that the promo code is added, but I would make that visible to them, because like I said, I was in the checkout ready to move forward with that, and I wanted to use the code, but it didn't know what it was, so had to back out and do that. So I would make the shipping costs more transparent too. So this is something that comes up in like a lot of the UX audits that I do. A lot of times people will do free shipping over a certain amount, which is great, and that's advertised. But one of the reasons that people abandon the cart so frequently is that they'll get all the way through to the screen that I was just on, and they still have no idea what shipping costs. And that's just a real, that's a real deal breaker for people. So anytime that you can be really transparent about the cost of shipping, if you have flat rate shipping or whatever, like being as transparent about that as possible, I think is like just the absolute best way to go, because I think people are less likely to abandon the cart. Okay, I want to go into, so we did a quick ad, but I do want to go into an individual product page and look at these. Okay, so the way that they have these written is good, like shorter sentences. We don't want like a big wall of text. I think how this is structured could be a little bit different. So I know we've got some subscribe options, which is good. I think I would probably want the review up here, and I can't, so these aren't like integrated from anything, they're just kind of like typed in here, so I can't like really click or read any more about this, which people like to be able to read more about the reviews, and especially when this is a supplement, anything that you eat or wear, you want people to be able to like read more about it. Oh, here we go. Okay. So they do have them down here. It just didn't link to that. So ideally I should be able to click on this and it should be able to like bring me down here. So there is one, having questions enabled too for like things that you consume is always a good idea on a product page. So we've got the description. Okay. Products. Okay. So we've got some information here. I like that it's collapsible too. That keeps it really clean. I don't know why that one doesn't want to go back. That's okay. Okay. So I can do a one-time purchase. 1 month supply. The gray, okay. Gray is always a little bit confusing to me when they're on add to cart buttons, because it always seems to me like it's out of stock, and that's kind of always what I think. I don't know if other people have that issue or if it's just me, but okay. Add to cart. Okay. So it flows pretty nice. Decline this offer, and then it should push me right back into the checkout again. Okay. I want to look at this too on mobile. Okay. All right, so this would be a case for maybe reformatting some information on the page here, because the call to action button, so the add to cart button here, ends up getting pushed down. And, you know, it doesn't always need to be, it's okay that it gets pushed down a little bit, but in this instance, having it, you know, like closer to up here would be ideal. But again, this is just more about like, and this is another quick one, like just kind of restructuring how this information is laid out. Good. Okay. So let's go back to the home page here. And we want there to be some FAQs. Again, especially because this is like a consumable product. So it's good that the questions are from the customer's perspective. Collapsible content, big fan of collapsible content. Just, again, it's like some formatting issues. It's not anything huge. Really quick fixes would be pretty easy wins. All right, so let's look at some of this stuff down here. Track your order, FAQ, delivery, T&Cs. I don't know what that is, so let's click on terms and conditions. I've never seen anybody call it T&Cs before. I'd probably just call it what it is. They maybe just shortened it for the sake of, you know, the spacing and stuff here. But again, in terms of like not making people think, like, you know, just call it what it is. Refund policy. So this is something to look at too, and so I see a lot of people when they add in the refund policy, they just use like whatever comes standard with the site. And they'll be in here like certain types of items can be returned, like perishable goods. So they sell supplements. So I would consider that to be like a food or a perishable. I guess I don't know if they would necessarily like categorize that as something different. That's how I would categorize it. But it's, you know, it says that like this can't be returned, but then there's a way to make that happen here. So I think that I would probably clarify that a little bit. I actually see that a lot for brands that sell consumable goods. They don't necessarily think to go in and change that. They've got some links to their socials. So an ability to subscribe to the email list is good. So we do have a little text here about like who created this, which is good. So again, I think this would be like really good. It's in the footer. I think that would be really good for the homepage. Let's look. Oh, they do have a blog. So blogs are really good for SEO. Okay, so I think as far as the layout on the page goes, this could be, we've got just like some spacing and some layout issues. So actually can't tell what goes where. So I can't tell if the text matches the picture. Oh, this goes here. So it's hard for me to tell what I'm clicking on here. So I think, again, that's just a pretty quick win, just a formatting issue. And I'd want to be, I won't check it right now, but I would wonder like how that would come up on mobile too. But they do have a blog, and that's really good. Then again, that would probably be something else for me that could go actually in the footer instead of being up up here. Okay. Did see they had a reviews tab that popped up and I can't find it. They have a rewards program. Oh, there it is. Okay. Wanted to click on this and see. So they do have the ratings distribution summary, which is really good. There's a lot of research to support that, people being able to like click through all of the different reviews. So it's good that they have that here. And then they have a rewards program. We won't look at that today, but especially if they have a pretty consistent customer base that continually buys, like rewards programs can be a really, really good thing. And in the market of things that they are selling, they tend to have like a lot of repeat customers. So that they have subscriptions and bundles is really good. Let's see how contact. This can be a really big pain point for customers if how to contact isn't clear. So I want to point this out because I think that this is a great thing. They have right here an ability to get to a product page. And that's a really good thing because a lot of times what happens on like FAQ pages or contact pages, there isn't necessarily an avenue for me to get from that page to a product page. And not everybody is going to enter your website through the homepage. Like we think that that's the case, but there can be a lot of instances where maybe someone like found your website through a Google search or just they enter through another page. And so we always want to make the pathway from where they're at to purchasing a product as seamless as possible. So if I have to like hit the back button or go up here, it's not that they can't do it. It's just that we want, again, to make the process like really seamless, really quick, really easy for them to figure out. So the fact that I can, get this now that's a good thing. So we always want to create an easy pathway back to purchase. So that is typically all we look at in these teardowns. So again, they're not meant to be super long or super comprehensive, just quick overviews of a couple of pages. And so that is it for today, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.